Okay. So today topic we are going to discuss about the culture way, right? What was the VM and what were the servers and how the cloud computing got into the industry and how it is adopted. Okay. Before that, let's recall what was the discussion in the last session. That was DevOps too, right? We have discussed about the conventional software development cycle, what was waterfall, agile methodology has been adapted. It was divided into multiple sprints to achieve the targets, right? These were the major points what we have discussed at the time. Okay. And then we have discussed about the roles and responsibilities and what the DevOps engineers overcome the roles, right? What was the multiple roles before DevOps engineer, then it all merged and the DevOps engineer responsibilities has been discussed, right? And how it can make cost optimization, the quality DevOps engineer, how can enhance the quality discussions. This point, everything has been discussed. Today, we are switching back to proceeding forward with the virtual machines, right? The cloud computing. Okay. So when we switch to the cloud computing, the first thing you got to know is that what's a cloud computing, right? So in this term, simple term, if you're referring to the cloud networking or the cloud computing, let's say it's a network which is located in the remote area. Okay. So remote area. Before coming to this cloud computing, okay, we'll try to understand what was the conventional way. Okay, before this cloud companies were introduced, like 2003 or around 2000, there was the issue of facing physical servers. Okay, before what they used to do is in the conventional way. Okay, there was a organization, right? Any organization who want to be working on the IT, right? They required some of the specifications or resources before starting their projects. The term, let me say that they used to have the virtual machines, right? Servers, the big servers. Example, if you can take from the IBM, right? From the IBM, they used to purchase, right? Then afterward, they used to deploy virtualization, right? Like virtual box to make it more use of the resources, right? Resources. So let me say, quote one example, right? Let's say Asim want to create a one new company. Right? This I'm saying reference to back like 2005, right? So what were you supposed to do as an IT company organization? I supposed to have first servers because I'm going to host my everything inside that, right? What resources I'm going to host? I'm going to host web server, right? Then I'm going for that. I required the operating system I need to configure, right? Whichever it may be, Ubuntu or Windows based on the requirement, right? If you go for this, then I required the hard disk, right? Hard disk I required 100%, right? I required networking tools, right? Like physical firewall routers related to that. Everything I do require, right? For this everything I need to purchase from one organization which is providing, like for example at the time IBM of Microsoft. Okay, and that used to come in the huge size of servers, right? Resources in the sense it might be, let's say, 100, or for example let's say 20 CPUs, right? 20 CPUs, then it might be 100,000 GB, right? Let's say 40 TB, right? Storage. Okay. Then what we have measured networking, we have to buy from another organization, right? To make all the routers and everything. Okay. When I'm thinking for the startup, this was a minimum requirement in the time of the initial revelation came with the cloud computing. Okay. Right to understand the point, right? I'm a new ASIM company, right? I'm going to create a new IT company, then I need to make a startup. I'm initial at the state of initialization. I don't know. The startup might fail, startup might click. Okay. Most of the startups ended up without any successful in their careers. Okay. So at the time, I used to pay, like, for example, 2 lakhs rupees, right? For example, it can be more than that. At the time, it can be 2 lakhs rupees in 2004. Let me take the quote also, right? Let me give 2005, right, which I've referred. So at that time, without creating, writing a single code or doing anything, like it's not going in the, even in the production environment, right? It's not live, just in the development stage. Before I proceed, I need to, I need to expend this time of amount, right? X amount. Let's say the amount is 5K. Okay. Just to purchase an order. After that, I required the order confirmation. They used to give us 3-month minimum delivery time, right? minimum delivery time as a 3 month, deliver into our own premises, right? After taking the server, this is a server, for example, right? This is a server. Okay. What do we required for that? Also, I required some of the resources, right? Resource in the sense refer to I need the infrastructure where I'm going to keep, like physical. I need the room, physical room of server room. If you check it over here in the few bags, you used to find one room as separate server room, right? Then I required that room to be air conditioning 100% to make it overheating issues, right? To make sure that it is highly available. Then I need operating system. I need to buy from XYZ company, right? It might be any Ubuntu or Windows. I need to configure everything because I have to configure, right? Whatever software I'm going to use, I'll be buying that licensed one. Then I am going to install on my server, right? Whichever server I have purchased. Okay. After that, one more issue was there that you require 24 into 7 maintenance, right? So at the time of maintenance, 24 into 7, then what do you require? You require some resources. Resources that admin, right? The admin we require to look over this server for the maintenance. Okay, it can be any issues for the maintenance. If I'm going to deploy any website server on my issue, then I need complete monitoring of this service, right? So assume that I'm going to pay before starting my project, right? I need to pay for what were resources for the purchase of the server, right? Virtual machines, right? Servers referring to from the IBM or any other organization. Then I need to have a space. That means I have to buy or rent, okay, or lease some space in my company separate for VM machines, right? This is the VM machines. Then I have to provide air conditioning for the. Then I have to provide all the networking. Then I need to install all the software related to this, whatever I'm going to use in the organization for the development. Okay, this was a bit headache at the time of that case. Okay, so without doing anything, without going for like development stage, even proceeding, right, for the deployment, I need to go with all these steps. Okay, so end of the day, without doing anything, I was spending as a owner or as a owner, I was spending huge of money. That was a very big headache. That the reason there was a hesitation to go for startups in IT industry. Okay, this revelation was came as to overcome all the lacks of this part, right? For this part, let me just take a screenshot over this. Just a second. Okay. To overcome this, with the cloud computing was introduced. Okay. If you go check it over here, who are the largest provider, right? Who are the leading in the industry of cloud computing? You'll get the first name is Amazon Web Services. Okay. What they did in 2006. Okay. Let's go for new tab. Right. Let me save this part. Desktop one. Okay. Let's run this Amazon services. They was family known for the different services, right? If you know the Amazon, there are in e-commerce also, right? They have multiple the businesses which they are handling. Okay, so they thought that there is a very big loophole in the IT industry, right? Without creating anything, you will be facing a lot of issues, right? There is no resources, there is no like budgeting or something else. It's a headache. So what they did, they tried to provide the cloud computing. Okay, you got my point how this was conventional way starting of that. Okay, now let's discuss the point what is cloud computing. Cloud computing refers to simple, that is a network, right? It's a network or is provided the cloud over the internet, right? What does they are operations they are following, like developing new application. With that, you can create a virtual storage, you can provide the backup, disaster recovery, okay, hosting your website, application, blog, everything. So the model they are going with, uh, let me discuss the models also. First discuss their history, right? As I share that they started in 2016, 2006, right? 2006 they introduced this part, and they started leading in the industry. They are the richest at the time, right? It was a Jeff who was the owner of this. He has a lot of revenue receiving from AWS cloud computing. Okay, So in this case, what they thought is that we'll do one thing. He say that please don't buy any physical servers, right? Just come and take one virtual machine from us. Okay. So virtual machine refers to VM in AWS, right? They said, you have issue, right? You have issue with what? You with the storage, right? So you need to buy the hard disk huge. So instead of buying hard disk, take storage from us, right? Take storage from us. Don't worry, everything is remotely virtual. Okay. Then afterward, they say that don't worry about the operating systems, right? Or the softwares. We will give you all the softwares. Come with us and take it while configuring your EC2 instance. Okay. So they say that come with us and take everything. Then after that, they say that don't worry about the maintenance. We will take care about this whatever we are making 24 into 7 with high availability, even with the backup also, right? So they say that make it schedule backup. So we'll backend and we'll make sure everything is highly available, right? In multi zones and everything, multi zone. Then afterward, there was an issue came that where will be the location of your hostings, right? So they said, don't worry, we will make it multiple regions. Okay, multiple regions. Then they say that we will provide you multiple zones inside the regions, right? Inside the regions. Then we will use the latency, that means data transfer, right? Whatever the data we are going to use from the server, we are going to fetch from the locally or through the bridge browser. They say that we will provide you low latency. That means high, high, high rate of data transfer without any issues, right? They say that data transfer will be always high. Okay, transfer with the high. Now the point is coming at the phase, the conventional way. Before buying this everything, before going with the cloud computing, the issues was we have to do the payment, right? Cloud computing. We used to do, as I show you before in the demonstration, I said that before you proceeding for any development, you used to pay the amount. Then they came with the solution like computing. Don't worry, go with on-demand prices. Okay, on-demand prices or reserve prices, right? Reserve prices. So there is a multiple options in the pricing. On-demand prices refer to when you use your resources, the charges will be applicable. Okay, charges applicable, right? Reserve, there is a fixed prices with 50% discount. Okay, there is a one who I'm quoting. There is multiple options also available from the multiple cloud providers. Okay, so what happened? They say that please don't worry. Okay, we are here for the solution. So what they said, if you want to take this VM for use case, let me add one more point over here. Like, let me say that in the building of my stage, I'm saying that please, I need a one EC2 instance, right, with 4 GB of RAM, right? Then afterwards, I need Ubuntu operating system for my Linux operating system as a for the development, right? Then I'm saying that hard disk I need for storage, right? That is EBS in AWS. They'll say that my requirement is 50 GB, right? This is my requirement. Then I book this. Then they are saying that there is two options available from AWS for the payments. They say that go with the on-demand prices because the reason I'm going for the first stage of my application, right? As an organization, always I'll be looking for the development, right? So in this case, I will say that please go with the on-demand prices, as I mentioned. On-demand prices that let's say for the development, I'm making one schedule, right? Let's say for the development team will work on 8 hours, like organization, right? 8 hours per day. So they say that you can start this EC2 instance 8 hours, like in the first hour, then you can close it 8 hours. Okay, after your 8 hours is completion, the charges will be only for 8 hours resources used. Okay, EBS there'll be always, but it will be optimal. It will be like within $0.00 something else. So it's not much chargeable. But they say that on-demand prices will be referred this one. Only charges applicable for you when you are using this instance. They are quoting like per hour. Okay, all the cloud providers are in the same scenario. They have different payment scale, but they are going with the same scale. Okay, So now if you check it over here, I thought in the mind in the yesterday, right? Let's say I have decided today, tomorrow I'm going to start on one project for the development of my own application, right? Awesome application. Then quickly I said that I have discussed with Arshad or somebody else and discussed that whatever the resources we required for application. Then he said that, sir, we required 4 GB RAM and I required OBS or sorry Ubuntu operating system on that Linux operating system to be installed on that EC2 instance. Then I required 50 GB hard disk. That's the more than enough. I required only for currently, let's say, one AC2 instance, right? So now the thought is coming for me that now which option you're going with this, cloud computing or purchasing the server. Purchasing server, if you agreed also, let's say I'm buying my own setup, I'll keep everything in my own setup, I'll take care of everything. Then also it takes minimum delivery time of the 3 months. Okay, and for this, in minutes, just create your account. Within 2 minutes, you can create your EC2 instance VM machine on your EC2 instance, right? For the AWS. If you're going with any different provider, also is the same. Okay. So this conventional way, which was headache for the organization, for any organization, everyone they found the solution with cloud computing. Cloud computing is solving all the problem which was there for the related to infrastructure with security aspect also, right? Let's say security wise, how to secure security, right? Preventing DDoS with multiple attacks, right? Prevention. Hmm? And reverse proxy also they have started over this, right? This multiple way which we will discuss in AWS deep dive in with go to that point. Okay, so you got my point what they have done to this industry. After that, all the related to competitors jumped in the market. Okay, everyone, AWS, hmm, Azure, one of the leading provided by Microsoft, right? Then you have Google, GCP from the Google, right? Then you have IBM, then you have Oracle Cloud, then you have GoDaddy, then you have Linode, right? These are the major players. There are multiple. You'll find hundred or thousand of X now, but majority of them. One more is there Alibaba, which is also very famous. Alibaba from the China. Okay, Alibaba. So if you find over here, this all this organization they are providing this cloud computing solutions to the IT industry with the terms of certifications. Also, you can make the contract with them. You can create the new account, provide them, and what they are doing. One more thing, they are encouraging for the startups. When you create the account as an organization of ASIM organization, right? They will provide you free dollars also, 300 USD dollars for let's say for 3 months for your development, right? As a startup, they require bonus this terms of you Amazon. Even Azure provides you to around as my previous experience, right? Azure provides you $200. Okay, but you have to register as the organization with company email and everything details you have to provide over there, right? Which domain you're working. You're if you're working in AI, as I remember in my previous organization, in this organization which I have been working, we receive an invitation for almost let's say 10,000 USD dollar offer, right? For AI startup. If you're working on AI, any project, they are ready to fund you like $1,000, 10, sorry, thousand I have mentioned, right? It is $10,000. They are ready to fund you, but there are the different stages for that to communicate and clear all the interviews, and you have to give the architecture of your project, and you have to say that what problem you are going to solve, or the what solution you are providing, what enhancements you are providing in IIT, AI solutions. Okay, so you got my point. How they are encouraging these cloud providers come onto the cloud. Now the point is coming over here. So what's the current scenario in the IT organizations, right? In the organizations currently, if you check, let me just minimize this. Let me add a new. Okay, I will save it later on. No issue. So this part I will add it to. Okay. Now the point is coming up. The organization who was using conventional the existing VM, right? Virtual machines or the servers in their own premises, right? On premises. When somebody is referring you for hosting like on premises, that means they are hosting their as own server in their organization, right? They have the physical server available, right, in their organization, right, physical server on their organization, and they are maintaining everything. They are responsible for everything, right? Everything part they are, this organization is responsible. Okay, they have a big team for the maintenance. This comes for the on premise. Whatever you see over this part, right, everyone is switching now to the cloud. Okay, with a definite time you'll find that every company is going with the cloud option only. The reason, as I mentioned, that is a cost optimization, highly available, highly maintained, secured, right? Multi-zone availability is available, right? If I want to start sitting in India, right? If one more use case, if I tell you that, being ASIM organization, right? If I say that ASIM is going to start, ASIM is going to provide a service in US, let's say go with this use case also. So what I need to do it, if I'm not going with the cloud computing, then I need to order one a server in US. I need to deliver one server in US. I want infrastructure in US. I need a one team in US to maintain that. I need a complete infrastructure, whatever I require, like electricity, air conditioning, everything I required in US. But where I'm presently in India, does it convenient for me to make a one physical machine booking, ordering, and making a installed or configured in US is highly impossible. But going with the cloud computing solution, you can configure any server in any region, sitting in India or any XYZ region remotely. Okay, this solution this provide you one more enhancement, that this is more flexible. This can provide you overall global. Okay, wherever you are working, you can install any virtual machine in that region, and you can provide the service in that region only. For example, let's quote is that my application is application, right? My application is Google, right? So Google is available globally, right? Google is globally. So what happened, they have configured or deployed their application is all the area, let's say USA, India. So multi-zone options, right? Multi-zone deployment to minimize the latency of their application, highly available in the application. India, China, Pakistan, you'll find everywhere the Google is installed. Whichever location, if I'm accessing Google from India, then from south, like from Mumbai, they have a one zone. From there, I'm accessing all the data from the Google, okay, instead of USC. That reduces your operating cost also, right? The data is transferring from your nearest region. Instead of accessing from USA or China, I'm fetching all the data from the browser, like Chrome or somewhere else, from locally. That is India. So you got one point. You have any issue or you're facing any difficulty in understanding this point? So I can go more deep down. Anyone? Basit Ramesh.
No, that's awesome.
Hope that is clear to you, right? So let's go
Yes,
for the
yes.
PPT and discuss what type of web servers are there, right? So if I go over here, this already lies to say that before there was like this, right? You need to get one room, you need to install all the networking tool, you need to install the virtual machine, then you need to configure your operating system, then you need to install the firewalls, you need to install the routers. This was a very big headache. Now every solution is remotely. This is not our headache. The cloud provider will take care of everything. Only on the deployment of that servers, right, virtual machine, you are responsible. Okay, that part also we will be covering now. Okay, what does it provide you? The cloud provide distributing computer environment. It share all the resources among the users and workers very fast. As I mentioned, that it will provide you low latency, right? Quickly you can access any very EC2 instance or any cloud computing server from remotely. Okay, it's provide you high availability and readability. As I mentioned, that it is provided on the globally in every zone. You will find their hosted regions. Okay, this and that is maintained 24 into 7. Okay, even they make it backup periodically also. And let's say we have configured in India, so multi-region option is available. Even I can clone that same thing in US also to make it backup in case of disaster, like in a currently is going in the Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, right? There is a flood. So at that time, assume that our data center is center of that is filled up with water. Your application got collapsed and everything. At that time, what happened? That there is a one more backup region was available. right? We already used one more, for example, we used like US, right? At that time, all the data transfer will be up automatically if our AP at Telangana region, right? AP South. For example, I'm saying there is no data center over here. There is only one data center available from Amazon, that is Hyderabad, but that is not for public. Okay, still they are going with the enhancement state. For India, there is only one, which is AP South one, right? That is available. I think it's nearby Mumbai or Delhi. That is very secure. Even you cannot locate where the servers are because they are storing everything, right? Data. Everything. So this is how they make the cloud providing, for example, AWS, make it secure everything. You never know where their exact location. Okay. So high scalable, even if I say that my resources, which I've said in the initial stage, I required 4 GB RAM and a 50 GB hard disk. Then let's say my application got enhancement, right? We added more feature to it. Suddenly, my development team or the cloud engineer or the DevOps engineer, they'll come and say that the resources are excluding, right? As the same for the laptop, right? Sometimes if you want to install any application, heavy application like gaming, something else, your laptop will get a lot of issues like slow service, slow performance, struck everything. The same happens with the virtual machine also. When your resources are getting consumed, right, based on the requirement highly more than 80%, then at the time you have to go for vertical scaling. Vertical scaling refer to that instead of 4 GB RAM, we'll switch back to 8 GB RAM. Instead of 50 GB hard disk, we'll go for 80, 100 disk, 100 hard disk we will add. So this also is providing easily. So just you can stop your server, or while running also, you can just start increase your resources, then you can reboot that. So all the effects will take within 1 minute. Okay. For the backup, it will take 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. So this is very easily provided by all the cloud providers. Okay. Let's say device and location. I say independent. You can configure anywhere, right? Maintenance, they are maintaining low cost. I mentioned that this is on demand and the fixed prices are available. If you're going for like family discount, then even you can find it. This I will be covering. Don't worry, right? The as you models, as I say that you have even API solutions also, this is fine. Now, if you're coming for the type of cloud, which I say that we are discussing about the cloud company, AWS and everything, we are we are discussing about the public cloud. Okay, the private cloud refers to, as I mentioned, this is for AWS, right? If you're going for AWS, right? Private cloud refer to on the on-premises, right? And that means in the organization itself, they have all the VMs installed, right? Servers. Okay, on the VM you will make it. You can call it server, VM, doesn't matter. It's referred to one. Hybrid cloud. Some organization, even like the old organization, right? Let's say TCS, for example, right? They are working from years, so many years, right? 40 years, 50 years. So they have on premises also. Okay, even they have cloud computing, right? AWS or any another remote cloud providers. So in that organization, some of the applications running on the both. So some data will be stored over here, some even they have stored using public cloud. So the combination of this combination of these two will be the hybrid cloud. Okay, this is person. The community cloud, actually this is a different aspect which is not recommended by anyone, but still I will cover that point also, right? So let's go and check it out. Advantage of public, I say that it's owned by lower cost, private and hybrid. Compared to the everything, public cloud is very reasonable. That AWS, Azure, or something else, which is trending now, adopted by all the IT industries for the application. Okay. So disadvantage is something it's more less secure. Resources shared publicly, but doesn't mean that your application is secure. There is a lot of services provided by cloud provider to overcome these issues. Okay, this is fine. Uh, Private cloud, as I mentioned, that organization is hosting in their premises, right, on their infrastructure. So it's more secure to them, okay, compared to this option. But still, there is enhancements has been done, but this also overcome with the timely, okay. So now you'll find this also secure, this also secure. But mostly, if you want to go with this, you have to host your own servers in your organization, okay. But end of the day, depend on the organization how they can manage with the cost optimization, budgeting of your applications, okay. Now, in this case, as I say, hybrid is a combination of public cloud and the cloud. They will use the resources of 50% from AWS or somewhere else, right? And they will use all the database stored on their local premises. Okay. So the community cloud is also system to accessible by globally of several organizations to share information between organizations specific community. So at that time, what happened? Let's say I have ASIM, right? ASIM organization. In that, I have multiple organizations. Let's say I have IT company, then I have e-commerce company which is looking for sales. I have one construction company. Okay, so at that time, what I will do it, I'll make one server, right, or the one hybrid model. In that, I will make community wise so that all the organization can come share the resources. So on that virtual machine, what I will do, I will install hypervisor or virtual machines, right? Oracle virtual box. Then I will distribute to multiple organization within my organization or different organization. I'll say that please come take the resources the same as per your requirement, and you start you are doing everything. So we'll have a one contract with all the team members, like all the organization which we are sharing this cloud, community cloud. Okay, and we will decide that you resource, you take this resources, you take these resources, you take this resource. But this is not requirement, but there is a one option to minimize this thing. As I mentioned that this community cloud is not a good choice for every organization. Security features are not good as a private cloud, as I mentioned. It is not suitable if there is no collaboration. End of the day, something mischief is happening, then this can be a disaster. So at that time, if your organization have a multiple sister companies, okay, let's say any Tata company, they have Tata TCS, Tata Steel, Tata Inc. At that time, they may go with the option, but depend on their security and everything, right? So this thing. Now, if you're going for the three models, as I say that this is a very important topic, which will be having for the interview prospect, you'll be facing this immediate questions. So what are the models available? Infrastructure as service. Okay, so there is a three models. Try to remember IPS. Okay, so don't worry, infrastructure as service. Okay, everything behind us is as service. Okay, as a service, as a service. So if you see this three part, this is three differentiate. Okay, infrastructure as service, that means we are taking only resources from them. That means I'm taking 4 GB RAM, right? Okay? 4 GB RAM. Then I'm taking 2 CPU, right? Virtual machine. Then I'm taking 10 GB RAM storage, for example, right? I'm taking this only infrastructure from AWS. Okay. On that, I can do anything, right? I can install any DevOps tools. I can install Grafana. I can install Ubuntu. I can install Docker, right? Everything. So in this case, when I'm taking this only resources from them, so that's called as infrastructure as resource, as service, sorry, right? So AWS is providing only infrastructure to me. I'm going with this option as. So I'm taking resource, then I'm converting that into web server or any database server, anything else, right? So this platform, in this case, I'm using this model that is known as infrastructure as services. Okay, this I will show you difference also. Don't worry about that. Hope this answers to you for this case, right? So if I'm going with another option, right? Platform of service. At that time, what they will do it, they will install same thing. They will install the software in that, and they will give you with the resource. Okay. So what they will do it, I will show you everything. Let's say I require 4 GB, right? As I said that I require 10 GB of hard disk, 2 GB of this one, right? So at that time, what will happen? They will say that, okay, I'm going for the platform of services. The one more option is the Beanstalk. Okay, Beanstalk is the one services provided by AWS. Okay, Beanstalk, which we will cover. Don't worry about that. At that time, what happened? Bring your code of any application. Let's say Node.js application you have written. Okay, bring your code, upload your code into Beanstalk. Okay, AWS will look over with the resources. Whatever resources you required behind the Beanstalk to be up and running always, they will match everything. They will select the EC2 instance type. Okay, they will select the RAM, they will select the CPU, they will select the what is available, and they will scale up based on your requirement. This type of thing, what happened? They are making one platform, right? Their beach stack is a service platform. On that, you are hosting everything, right? In this, you no need to install any operating system, right? Just you have to select which operating system is there with the drop down, right? There'll be one drop down button. With that, you have to select. You need to no need to select RAM, CPU, and everything. AWS will take care everything. Okay, this is a solution provided by them, but the charges for this is compared to a this. If the charges is like this, the charges will be bit more for this because they are looking for complete solution, right? So just to upload, they will take care of. B stack where it is used, if you check out when you're going for a prototype. Okay, so let's say you are making one prototype for your client, right? For the initial presentation, At the time, they will make one code and they will deploy on the Beanstalk, and that presentation will be given to the clients, okay, for the presentation. So prototyping type they will use for the Beanstalk, right? Or different. Even you can go with a RDS also, right? Rational database. So what they will do it at the time complete, right? What they will do it, they will use database. They will pre-configure database inside the AWS service RDS. Okay, they will take care of resources. Here we have to take care of the resources. You got my point. Here we have to take care of resources: CPU, RAM, storage, okay, operating system, whatever. Here you no need to do that. The AWS will take care of everything. Behind that, just you have to select which type of database you are going to use. Let's say MySQL or Postgres, okay, based on your load. Whenever you are increasing your data inside your database, sorry, I'm referring to this, when you are installing database, uh, with that, then it will scale up based on that. This is come as platform of service. They are given the platform, bring your software, bring your code, bring your anything, deploy on that one, okay. So these charges are a bit high compared to IaaS, okay. So for example, as I mentioned that, software programmer. As I mentioned, that cloud provider, right? Cloud computing platform is created for programmer to develop, test, run, and manage application. As I mentioned that, yeah, right? This is for the test prototyping, right? As I mentioned, the platform servers, for example, if you're going with the Bean stack, then this is for prototyping. Okay, prototyping in that you will bring everything data, right? You will develop, test, run, and manage your application. As I mentioned that. Okay. So if you're going with the software services in the sense in which application hosted by the cloud service provider, you can access this services immediately. Okay. So at that came, I will explain that also with the example, right? Okay, let me on one more. We have to,
So
yeah,
sorry for the disturbance. So
yeah.
as per your analysis, you are saying that so the AWS will comes under the IaaS only, no, infrastructure as service only.
Providing three services. AWS is providing infrastructure as services, SaaS services, and PaaS services. Whichever you require, you have to access from there. Even all the cloud providers, including Google, including Azure, they are providing all the services. Okay, which I will be covering. Don't worry, I will show you what will be the service for that, what will be service for this. Okay, so before you proceed, you have to analyze what kind of service you required. Okay, let's say for example, let me give one more example, right? What this is Google meeting we are hosting, right? Google meeting, okay.
Hmm.
What kind of service this Google is providing to us? If you go for the analysis, I'll give you this example, hope you'll get all the information, right? So let me zoom this so I can answer you. Okay, let me, this will give you the moon, okay. So as when I say that, we are responsible for the application. As I say that AWS will provide virtualization, right? As I say EC2 instance, they will provide you server, storage, and networking, as I mentioned, right? On that, what we have to do, we have to install any Ubuntu EC2 instance I'm referring to, okay? Let's say EC2 instance, right? This is EC2 instance, this is VM in AWS, right? If you call Azure, there is EC2. If you go for GCP, Google, then Google Compute Engine, right? Compute Engine, okay? Compute engine, right? So they will provide you virtualization, that means EC2 instance, server, storage, and network. On that, we will install Ubuntu operating system or Windows operating system, a Red Hat, right? Any operating system, it can be CentOS, everything. Before that, in middleware, we can install runtime, data, whatever you're doing inside this infrastructure, we are responsible. This about when I'm saying the platform, this is more concern about the responsibilities we are going to handle. Okay, if you're going with the IaaS, then AWS is not responsible what you're going to host on this, right? We never know what kind of data you are going to store on this virtual machine, right? You got my point. Virtual machine. So you are responsible, but AWS will make sure that this is highly available, the servers every time, 24 into 7, right? The storage, they will make sure that it does not break down. The networking, they'll make sure that is secured, right? But this is have this two way. Even if you're configuring firewall, then you have to look out over that, but it will provide you high latency, sorry, low latency, that means high performance, right? Storage, okay. On top of that, you are responsible for this part. Okay, if I'm going with the PaaS, okay, I'm not responsible everything. Runtime, AWS will be responsible. Middleware, operating system, they will install, right? Virtualization, they will do it. Everything they will do. As I mentioned, that is a bean stack, right? In the bean stack, I'm not going to install Ubuntu inside that. Okay, just I'm saying that I will upload my code inside this platform. This is a bean stack, is a service from AWS. Okay, for example, right? So in that only just I will upload one code, right? AWS will decide what kind of VM is required, what kind of virtualization and what kind of storage is required for this application to be hosted. This will be taking of everything. If we am going for SaaS, then the provider is responsible for everything. Okay. Now the switch for your answer is that we are hosting the meeting on the Google Meet, right? So what we have done, what I have done is I have used my link and I have created one meeting, right?
Yes, sir.
Is my headache that I'm going to maintain this meeting backend resources? No, right? If 10 student joins, right? Okay, the resources behind this is a headache of Google, right? They have to make sure this meeting does not get interrupted, right? It has to be better performance in 10 student. If it is 100 student also, it has to perform very well, right? So who is responsible for this? I'm a user or the Google? Google is responsible, right? Google is
Yes, yes.
responsible to make this software also secure, right? So if when you are joining this, you might receive sometime stating that please wait for acceptance of this Google meeting, right? Acceptance. So somebody, the client who is hosting this meeting, they have to accept this, right? So even the inside this Google Meet, if you will check over here, what we are finding audio, right? Video, right? Sharing, even chart is available. You can send me chart on this, right? Even CC is there, right? Which convert your online translation, right? It will compare whatever you are going. I'm speaking. It will be translated if you check CC. So this everything, it is one service behind this. This is maintained by Google. So what I'm doing, this is not my end, right? I'm coming in the Google. I'm taking a service, Google Meet. That's it. So who is responsible for this? The Google is responsible. This comes in software as service. Now, if I'm going for the commercial of Google Meet, right? This is the free version which I'm using now currently. I'm going for the commercial way, then I have to pay for the service, right? I have to take for this complete for the for services, right? For the, let's say, for the organization package, right? They have community edition in the pricing, which I'm using free tier, right? Currently, I'm not paying anything. If I want for my organization, right, I have to go with the what? Google Workspace. If you're aware of this, Google Workspace is a paid version. Same way, they are providing email and everything, drive everything with the secured way. Even they will sign you one agreement stating that your data will be secured, right? Secured and anything happen with your data, this organization Google is responsible. If you, they will be sued back. If somebody sues us as an organization, we will say that this is responsibility of who? AWS or Google, who is providing you the software. His responsibility. So you have to back him, sue him also, right? So this kind of thing is providing. If you're taking more service from the provider, end of the day, you're going to pay more. Okay. If I'm going with the free version, then I'm paying nothing. If I'm going for the paid version, then I have to pay, right? So this solution is provided by this all the cloud provider. Okay. Hope that answers you and clear your doubt also, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, it's
If
clear.
you're going for the on-site conventional way, as I say, I'm bringing virtual machine, I'm storing in my organization. In this case, you are responsible to handle a single thing. This is a headache which cloud computing solve with the solution as PaaS and SaaS. You got my point? This was a very headache because you required a resource, one admin you required who has very good knowledge on the servers. So it was called as server admin. Okay. Then you required one networking engineer who has very good networking knowledge, who can do everything, right? And one 24 into 7, one security guard to make sure that this room is not get by unauthorized person to get inside and do any mischief things, right? And updating, patching, everything. Even one of the important clause aspect, let you know that, which we will be covering whenever you are going to install any cloud. Let's say we are taking a one VM from any provider. Okay, for my example, AWS, right? So if you're taking anything software from AWS, I'm taking one EC2 instance, right? I'm conferring this EC2 instance in the time of August, right? This is August. So in every 3 months, they will give it with the new updates. Okay. You just go and use apt upgrade command, right? Based on your operating system, apt upgrade. So all the packages which were installed with this EC2 instance, that will be updated every time. Okay. Let's say in the current version is 1.2, right? Of Ubuntu operating system, for example. Ubuntu operating system is provided by AWS only, right? They are conferring inside that and that I will cover, don't worry. But for example, I'm quoting, suddenly they found that there is something mischievous happening that has been reported in the Ubuntu, right? Ubuntu operating system. Immediately they'll come with the version 1.3. Okay. And they will prompt you in the Linux operating system when we are working, when we are accessing using SSH, right? They will say that update is available. Please update yourself. Using one command, within 2 minutes or something, you can upgrade whatever the latest patches is done. This part is known as patching. Okay. This we will cover what you mean by patching management, right? So end of the day, you will update all your softwares or your whatever you are hosting, your resources, infrastructure, what you are doing, that you will upgrade to the latest versions. So this is known as patching management. Okay. So this part we will cover all the things, right, to your knowledge, right? So as I mentioned that this is how we are going to handle. So mostly in our use case, we will go with the as only. Okay. When you're saying with PaaS, platform or services, which I'll be covering with the K8s, right? Kubernetes part, right? Kubernetes, they have EKS. That part we can cover with the PaaS. Okay. Even they have ECS container solution, right? Where you can store your container. Okay. Then even we can cover with S3 this part. So S3 is a platform, storage platform, is provided by AWS. Bring your storage and upload in S3. Okay, buckets. So this we will cover at that point. Don't worry about that. So I'll show you that. SaaS also, I'll show you that what will be the service by AWS in the SaaS. Okay. So this part we will cover, but we'll go with the infrastructure as code. Okay. Hope this point is clear. Do you have uh, any doubts or you need more clarification? You can ask me now.
No, Sim, it's clear.
Clear, right? So this
So,
document, yeah,
I mean, my understanding is, so you are saying that Elastic Beanstalk, is it correct? Elastic
yeah,
Beanstalk will refer to the PaaS.
yeah.
Okay. That means if I have any Node.js code or any other thing, so without creating that resources, I can automatically using this PaaS, I can install the thing and I can install that application. Is it correct?
You need to only upload the code. AWS will take care of
Okay.
everything. Okay, you need to
Okay.
upload
I
the
mean, like
code.
resources like, for example, security groups, networking, and everything.
Security group seed networking, you have to mention, you have to configure. That means what ports you are going to use it. But behind that, the resources, whatever you are going to use, right? I'll show you this part also. That will be take care of AWS. Okay. See,
Okay.
the step is that create your application, right? It's not
Uh-huh.
asking you to create EC2 instance, right? This I will show you
Okay.
tomorrow. Don't worry. Just I'm saying web server. Name
Yeah,
your web
got it.
server. Provide your environment. Let's say this is dev environment. I will add one domain, like temporary domain. It can be anything, right? Dev something. Okay, right? For example, let me check demo, right? Maybe it has to be unique. Somebody should not take check availability. Yes, this is available, right? Description I
Uh-huh.
will add. I will take the platform, what kind of code you're using. I'll say Node.js, what kind of application you have, sorry, what kind of programming you have specified, which kind of Node.js you're using, like packages, and you'll specify which kind of version you are proceeding, right? Platform version, sample code, right? Upload your code, labeling the version, upload your code in S3 bucket, give the path over here, next class. Okay, here you are providing the options like single instance you required, spot instance you required, high availability is required, high availability is referred to auto scaling, that resources will be upscaled, okay, based on their on demand. Okay, the custom configuration, this all option is providing, but this is when you have a small application for the testing or the prototyping, we'll go with the solution. In real time scenario, we are not going with this one, we are going with as only everywhere. Okay, if you're going for real time, like you're creating EC2 instance, you're creating complete infrastructure behind that, in that you're configuring everything. Okay, hope your answers to your question, right?
Yeah, got it. Asim. So in the real time, we will use only IaaS only, not the
Yeah,
PaaS.
IAS
Okay.
only. If you require PaaS, then we'll proceed. Like let's say if you're going for Kubernetes service is provided by two end, right? Let's say it can be provided by as also, right? By the PaaS. But the thing what you have to do it is that you have to go. Let me add this part also. You have to go take as platform from AWS. Okay,
Okay. Hmm.
one second, one second. Let
I
me
mean, by
just.
creating the master node and worker
Yes,
nodes.
you have to do
That's
everything manually. If you're going with EKS, then you don't need to select everything RWN. Just you have to pass the some command using kubectl commands or any other command to create the infrastructure, right? So this is how happens in the backend. So they will give you this end things, everything behind that. You need some of the headache, but end the day you will find very easily, right? But mostly the service which is coming as RDS. This is very important topic, which will be asked for you also in the interviews. So this will be covered. Don't worry about that. Okay. Even we will try to cover as cloud architect also some part of that in this course also usually, right? Which is not covered by many, but we will cover that part. Don't worry. So we will have a special classes for let's say or 1 2 special classes to cover whatever the pending parts, right? We required like security aspect for the AWS, what you have, some services, email services, what you can use from AWS. So that part we will cover. Okay.
okay, like
So if
SNS and HQS, simple notification services on those things. Yes.
That is for the notification for the alerts. I'm specifying for SCS, okay?
Okay.
Simple email services. When you are going to configure your SMT server, okay? This part we are going to cover.
Understood, also. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Anything from you guys?
From my
Just any,
nothing. Yes.
yeah, just anything. You have any doubt or you need any clarification? Just are you able to hear me? Anyways, okay. One more thing, Ramesh. Are you? Is possible that we can make tomorrow's this online meeting the discussion at 10 p.m. 10 a.m. So we'll keep 2 hours of the snap. Is convenient to you both guys?
Yes, Asim, no problem.
Okay, so that remaining guys also can join. They were requesting about concern about the timing because I'm
Okay.
available in the
No
morning
problem.
session only. Okay, so I will update tomorrow. So I'll be sharing this PPTs and everything in the Drive and as well as on the YouTube. So go through everything. If you feel any hassles, you can ask me in the next session also. We'll clarify all the doubts. Okay. So in the tomorrow
Uh,
session, yeah,
yeah, continue, continue. Sorry, continue, continue.
tomorrow's session will be covering up how you're going to create account if you don't know or don't have the AWS account. Okay, and we will going
Hmm.
to configure our first virtual machine on that. Okay, before that I'll give you all the briefing, right? All the briefing of regions, right? The dashboards what you have in AWS, services overview, right? Services overview, security group overviews, right? All the overviews we'll have end of the day, end of the session. We will try to configure one EC2 instance with a Linux, right? Linux operating system going with Ubuntu inside OS, right? And if we have a time, we will try to cover one Windows also, right? If it is possible, or else we'll switch back to another, right? So in this part, we will show you everything. With this also, we will add, we can keep it more options to that, like top protection or delete protection, right? We can add termination, right? Refer to termination. How you're going to upgrade your EC2 instance, as I mentioned that, you know, how to create your key to access, right? Your server keys, how you're going to best practice to use that key in which format. These all points we will be covering tomorrow session. So that session will be for 2 hours, right? Will be for the 2 hours. We'll make it from 10 to 12, right? 12 p.m. And we will cover all the aspects with the two parts, okay? 1 hour, 1 hour parts, okay? So now if just proceed with your question.
Yeah, Asim, understood. So, Asim, and one small doubt regarding to these things. Asim, if you explain some real time examples, also not now. I mean, you are in the starting stage right now. So once the things are, I mean, once the tools are I mean, one by one tools are completed, no? So if you can take some real time examples, and if you can explain us, it is well and good, Asim. That's the thing we are
See,
looking from here.
I'll show you. I'll explain you one point, right? So I made
Hmm.
this course as very easy. If you check it, I think if you missed out the first tutorial, then I'm not sure that you have covered or no. See, usually if you find for any institute or something else, they'll go with completely with the first project. They'll go with the Docker. Okay, I'll say you for example. Okay,
Yes.
they'll go with the Kubernetes. My how I made it structure that when we are baking uh, our base, right? The first is EC2 instance, that is we required virtual machines, right? Okay. After that, we
Yes.
required Linux operating system knowledge, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. The basic of Gits. I will not add complete, but for the first project, I will make sure that after completion of these three things, how before introduction of DevOps tools, how they were deploying. Okay. So we'll cover on project only with this aspect. Okay. Just cloning the Git from the Git code. Okay, then using your operating system before that, using EC2 instance, how you're going to deploy in before introduction of Jenkins and all the tools. So what phases you are going to face this type of deployment, then we will go for the phase 2. Then I will let you know that this issue was facing. Then they came with the solution of CLCD. Okay. So hope that will be you're sure that why Jenkins is being used, right? Or else if I'm going direct with the project of Docker, then there'll be a lot of issues, right? If we can handle with this only, why we are going with the Docker, right? Or why we are going with the Jenkins. So what I will do it, I will do it the first projects this way. I will explain you what you are facing the issue in this and what Jenkins is providing a solution. At that time, you will go to know that, okay, fine, this is the thing we are going to learn this tool. After this learning tool, I will let you know that Docker is done, right? Then we'll have one project, okay? Docker combination of this all. Then I will let you know that what Docker with the Docker we are facing issue because we don't have auto scaling in the Docker. So we are introducing in our course Kubernetes, right? So we will cover with the Kubernetes whatever hustle we face at the time, like auto scaling, auto healing, like vertical, horizontal, highly available, right? So these all solutions we will do one more project for that. Okay. Even with the Ansible also, we will show you. Like combination of this, everything is done. We will do one more project and we will see that what monitoring issues we are facing. At the time, we will add monitoring tool into it, right? And security tool into it. So you should have clear cut that, okay, without this Kubernetes also your application will be working fine, no issue. Your Docker also will be fine, no issue. But we are going to face some hustle. Okay, that's why this is was adapted in the IT industry, right? That's why this DevOps engineer highly demanded in the market. You got my point. This was my concept, which I have explained in the tutorial one also. Tutorial day zero, right? When we have the introduction, that point I have explained this methodology or the concept of teaching. I'll be explaining you in the detail. So don't worry about that time. So if you point any point, you'll stuck with this. We have, if you check my GitHub repository, you have all kind of applications, right? You have Node.js, Python applications there, Java is there, even static website is there. That everything we will cover. Even with the web browser also, web server also, and Nginx and Apache, I will cover everything. Okay. So hope